James Edward Smith was convicted of murder, after the fatal shooting of Larry Rahus during a robbery made at a cashier's office. Upon being asked what he wanted as his final meal, Smith asked for a lump of dirt. This was denied, and Smith eventually settled for a nice pot of yogurt. Peter Kürten was a particularly nasty serial killer. Convicted for a series of murders and sexual assaults in the city of Dusseldorf, Kürten was sentenced to death, decapitation by guillotine. His final meal request of a Wiener Schnitzel, fried potatoes, and white wine, wasn't all that unusual, but the Dusseldorf monster had the cheek to ask for seconds and received it. Robbie Lee Gardner was convicted of 2 counts of murder in 1985, and executed by firing squad 25 years later in 2010. His meal of lobster tail, steak, vanilla ice cream and apple pie was fairly standard, although Gardner specifically requested that he eat the meal while watching Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Jonathan Nobles was convicted for the murder of 2 young women in 1986. Before his execution by lethal injection in 1998, Nobles had seemingly become a devout Christian. For his final meal, Nobles requested the Eucharist, also known as Holy Communion, which consists of consecrated bread and wine. Clarence Ray Allen was convicted for murdering 3 people, becoming the second oldest person to be executed in the United States. For Allen's final meal, he requested buffalo steak and fried chicken, along with sugar-free pecan pie and sugar-free black walnut ice cream. Timothy McVeigh might have been a convicted terrorist and mass murderer, responsibly for the Oklahoma City bombing, but there's no denying that he knew exactly what he liked. Shortly before being executed by lethal injection by the state of Indiana, McVeigh requested a meal that consisted of just 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Convicted of killing 2 victims during a botched robbery, Gerald Mitchell was executed by the state of Texas in 2001. It turns out Mitchell had a sweet tooth, as his only request for his final meal was a large bag of assorted Jolly Rancher sweets. Miguel Richardson was tried and convicted for the fatal shooting of 2 security guards in 1980, and executed by the state of Texas in 2001. Richardson made the rather romantic request for his final meal, by asking for a birthday cake with written on top, the date he got married. He also specifically requested 7 pink candles, a lot of fruit, and a salad with Thousand Island dressing. Robert Buell was infamous for being convicted of the rape and murder of 11-year-old Krista Harrison. Shortly before being executed by the state of Ohio, Robert made an odd final meal request. While many of the entries here have featured excessive plates filled with rich food, Buell only wanted a single unpitted black olive. Delbert Teague Jr. was described by prosecutors at his trial as a one-man slaughterhouse, which might give you a good idea of just how pleasant the guy was. Delbert outright refused to eat his last meal. At least, he did until his mother told him off, and Teague sheepishly ate a cheeseburger before being executed by the Texas state. PlayStation thumb. Though this ailment is often called PlayStation thumb, the condition can affect anyone who uses a game with a D-pad controller. Symptoms of PlayStation thumb include numbness and tingling in the thumb and large, open blisters caused by repetitive motion that require weeks to heal. Another term for this condition is palmar hidradenitis, a skin disorder induced by console gaming. Painful lesions on the palms and fingers are the main features. Tendinitis. Tendinitis has been used to describe tendon injuries, tendinosis, of the hands and wrists. Users have reported stress injuries from playing games such as Wii Sports for too long. Serious injuries caused by playing in tight spaces can also occur. The Wii balance board causes a lot of injuries by itself, including knee and hip problems and fractures resulting from a fall, dubbed Wii fractures by healthcare providers. Seizures. Playing video games can in rare cases trigger seizures, but there is no scientific evidence that video games can cause traditionally classified epilepsy. Photosensitive epilepsy, however, is a common form of epilepsy in which seizures are triggered by visual stimuli that form patterns in time or space, such as flashing lights, bold, regular patterns, or regular moving patterns. Addiction. Yes, you can get addicted to playing video games. Video game addiction is an impulse control disorder, similar to compulsive gambling. Symptoms include weight loss or gain, lack of personal hygiene, lowered social interaction and a disrupted sleep pattern. Aggressive behavior and mental problems. Studies show that pathological, or obsessive video gamers are more depressed and anxious over time than non-gamers. Children are at risk of becoming more impulsive, socially awkward, and more likely to become addicted to gaming over time. Some warning signs include trouble concentrating, disrupted sleep patterns, increased anxiety, increased irrational anger, and social phobias. Kids who play violent games also tend to have more aggressive fantasies and engage in more aggressive behaviors. They are more likely to be victims of aggression, as well. The Tetris effect and game transfer phenomena. This phenomenon can occur after playing any game for a long time, but Tetris is the most common culprit. Users say that after playing the game for many hours, they unintentionally transfer elements of the game content, or the interface, into their everyday lives. For instance, users may start to see falling blocks everywhere, or may start to fantasize about which Tetris blocks would fit into a city skyline. Sometimes the images take over sufferers' thought processes, mental imagery, and dreams. In extreme cases, people have reported having car accidents because they were busy focusing on falling blocks that were not really there. Vision problems. Video games can cause vision problems. Extensive viewing of any screen causes eye strain, and prolonged computer use could also be linked to glaucoma, especially among users who are nearsighted. Staring at a bright screen is very harmful to the physical components of the eye, especially because during computing sessions we tend to stop blinking and start staring, which makes our eyes strain and dry out. A common vision problem among gamers is known as Guitar Hero. This is similar to the Tetris effect because it involves seeing the graphic interface burned into your retinas long after you've stopped playing. Carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome is caused when the main nerve between the forearm and hand is repeatedly squeezed or pressed. This pressure occurs when the carpal tunnel, the area of the wrist that houses the main nerve and tendons, becomes irritated or swollen. Computer use has long been linked to carpal tunnel syndrome, so it's no surprise that it's a physical symptom of gaming addiction. Overuse of a computer mouse can cause such irritation and swelling, as can excessive use of a video game controller. Migraines. A migraine headache can cause intense throbbing or pulsing in one area of the head and is commonly accompanied by nausea, vomiting, and extreme sensitivity to light and sound. Migraine attacks can cause severe pain for hours to days. While there are countless triggers for migraines, people who play video games for extended periods of time are more prone to these headaches because of the intense concentration required while gaming, as well as the strain put on the eyes by staring at a bright screen. Death. Players can easily get immersed and feel compelled to play for hours at a stretch. Case in point, a 28-year-old man collapsed after playing the game StarCraft at an internet cafe in the city of Daegu, South Korea. According to authorities, the man had not slept, had eaten very little, and had taken hardly any bathroom breaks during his 72-hour marathon gaming session. We presume the cause of death was heart failure stemming from exhaustion, a Taegu provincial police official told the Reuters news agency. Aside from health problems that can lead to death, many gamers have also died as a result of suicide and game-related murders.
World's smallest animals. World's smallest dog, 12.4 centimeters. At 1.4 pounds and 4.9 inches tall, Ducky, a yappy short-coat Chihuahua from Charlton, Massachusetts, USA, holds the Guinness World Record for the world's smallest living dog, by height. Ducky succeeds Danka Kordik of Slovakia, a Chihuahua who measured 5.4 inches tall. The smallest dog ever, according to Guinness, was a dwarf Yorkshire Terrier who stood 2.8 inches tall. World's smallest snake, 10.1 centimeters. Leptotyphlops carli is the world's smallest species of snake, with adults averaging just under 4 inches in length. Found on the Caribbean island of Barbados, the species, which is as thin as a spaghetti noodle and small enough to rest comfortably on a U.S. quarter, was discovered by Blair Hedges. World's smallest fish, 7.9 millimeters. On January 2006, the world's smallest fish was discovered on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, a member of the carp family of fish, the Pitacyprus progenetica. It is the world's smallest vertebrate or backboned animal, only 7.9 millimeters long. The title, however, is contested by 6.2 millimeters long male anglerfish Photocorinus spinoceps, not technically a fish but a sexual parasite, and the 7 millimeters long male stout infant fish Skindleria brevipinguis. World's smallest horse. Thumbelina, born May 1, 2001, is a dwarf miniature horse and the world's smallest horse. She stands 43 centimeters tall and weighs 26 kilograms. Officially received the title of world's smallest from Guinness World Records. World's smallest cat, 15.5 centimeters high and 49 centimeters long. Meet Mr. Peebles. He lives in central Illinois, is 2 years old, weighs about 3 pounds and is the world's smallest cat. The cat's small stature was verified by the Guinness Book of World Records on 2004. World's smallest hamster, 2.5 centimeters. Only slightly bigger than a 50-cent piece, Pee-wee is the smallest hamster in the world. Weighing less than an ounce, the golden hamster stopped growing when he was 3 weeks old. His 5 brothers and sisters went on to measure between 4 inches and 5 inches. World's smallest chameleon, 1.2 centimeters. The Bruchesia minima is the world's smallest species of chameleon. This one is just half an inch. Found on the rainforest floor of Nosy Island off the northwest coast of Madagascar, females tend to be larger than males. World's smallest lizard, 16 millimeters. So small it can curl up on a dime or stretch out on a quarter. A typical adult of the species, whose scientific name is Sphaerodactylus ariasi, is only about 16 millimeters long, or about 3/4 of an inch, from the tip of the snout to the base of the tail. It shares the title of smallest with another lizard species named Sphaerodactylus parthenopeon, discovered in 1965 in the British Virgin Islands. World's smallest cattle, 81 centimeters height. The world's smallest cattle is a rare breed of an Indian zebu called the Vekhur cow. The average height of this breed of cattle is 81 to 91 centimeters. World's smallest seahorse, 16 millimeters. The creature, known as Hippocampus danis, is typically just 16 millimeters long, smaller than most fingernails. Some were found to be just 13 millimeters long. H. danis lives in the tropical waters of the western Pacific Ocean, between 13 and 90 meters beneath the surface. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to click like, subscribe and comment below.